King Baba Baba. Watch it. Man. Watch it. Hey. Oh, oh, oh. Oh, oh, oh. Oh, oh, oh.
Hey guys, it's Reilly.
And Dale, her dad.
Welcome back to Really Reilly the podcast. Anyways, if you're new here, we'll be talking about the good and the bad experiences we've had, family drama, relationships, college and career,
some special guests, and maybe a few surprises.
Alrighty, let's get into it. On today's episode, we'll be talking about family and the bond family members share. Family is not an important thing, it is everything. And even though you can't pick your family, it just happens. And sometimes your family tree has a few surprises.
We don't know what our family values are. They're taught to us as we grow and interact with other family members. But as adults, it's important to lead by example because kids are always watching and will follow in our footsteps. So tread carefully.
So Dad, how was life growing up for you?
Well, I'm a city kid, born and raised in NYC. But what's important about family values is that it all starts at home. My mom was a secretary, my dad was a mechanic. Very sort of early on in life, my mom taught us the importance of how to speak to people. And I think that's something that's really important. I think today, a lot of folks don't really take the time in what they say to each other and how they talk to each other.
Right.
But my mom was really into that. And, as a secretary, obviously, she had to answer the phone often. So she was very careful in her delivery. Hence, she taught us, that same thing, how to answer the phone, how to answer the front door, and the importance of value and, respect for elders. Because a lot of people, I think, they talk to each other however they feel like it. And some people just kind of sidestep older people, the older generation.
Yeah, which is like totally not cool.
Totally not cool. Because, those of us that have been on the planet a couple more years than the average young person, we might have seen a few things that we can share, some life stories, some personal experiences, anything that may help a younger person understand, where their walk may go. So I think that's important. And other things that, I think you learn growing up as a young kid, certainly, self-respect, personal hygiene, you want to always come correct. You don't want to be like around your friends or at school or whatever. And,
and
you
smell bad.
Yeah, you haven't showered in 3 days. What's up with that? Washed your hair, got a haircut. So that's kind of some important values to have growing up. I think honesty is important. Loyalty is important. Friendships are important, but not everybody has to be your friend.
Right.
Pick your friends carefully because I could tell you, I have 2 or 3 really close friends that I've known since I was maybe 9 or 10 years old. We're still friends today. And You guys know who you are. But I think that's important as well. And then with family, I also think that eating together is good. Spending time together at the dinner table. If you guys can get together, in the evenings.
Right, and have like that quality family time.
If it can't be, in the evening because everybody's working and going their separate ways, school, whatever, careers, that's cool. But it's important, I think, to get the family together every so often. Maybe it's a Sunday brunch or whatever. Just everybody gets together and have lunch as a family and just talk. Just spit off whatever's going on.
Right, whatever's on your mind.
How was your week? What did you do? What did you experience? Did you have a good week? Did you have a bad week? Tell me about it. That kind of thing, just some family fun time. Then I think it's important to have responsibility. I think, as parents, we have to teach our kids responsibility. Again, as I mentioned earlier, we have to lead by example. If we're not responsible individuals, if we're not doing our thing, if we're not doing our jobs, if we're not showing ourselves in a certain way, presenting ourselves in a certain way, then how would our kids know what to do?
Right.
And I think creativity is important. It's important to encourage, your kids to be creative and do whatever they think they're good at doing. So Reilly, tell us a bit about your experience growing up and be gentle.
Gentle. Okay. Well, I grew up in Barbados and New York, surrounded by my family, of course. And if you remember, Mom, you and me, we would always, and Lucas, we traveled often. And we went on a lot of family vacations. We went to Hawaii, Rome, London, Paris.
That's right. We took you guys everywhere. We packed you all up and had the strollers and food, and we would explore wherever.
I would never want to walk anywhere. I still don't to this day. Speaking of which, I'll go there.
Go there.
You
Go
made
ahead.
me walk from Chinatown today all the way to the studio.
Well, in New York City, we walk most places. Not everyone has a car and can be dropped off. It's good exercise.
For you.
Really, Reilly? Yes, I need it. But families aren't perfect, right? I mean, all
Right.
families have some struggles and difficulties, etc.
Definitely. I mean, we have that time where it was very difficult and I left home to live with another family.
Right.
Remember?
I do.
And went to go live with one of my close friends.
Mm-hmm.
And, it's such a touchy subject because I feel like walking away doesn't mean that you don't love that person or your family. It just means that you know your worth or you're finding your worth and that you are strong enough to get through whatever this is, this
That's
moment in your life.
Very true. And sometimes, you need a little time apart to actually,
see things properly.
That's true. Rebuild a connection. Sometimes you need a little bit of distance to just have some time to think about things. It happens in relationships. Sometimes you need a little time out. And sometimes, family bonds, it's tough because obviously family members are going to say what they think. They're going to, mean
Right.
what they say and say what they mean. You hope. But sometimes the truth can hurt.
Yeah, and it definitely did hurt for me, and it was a huge sacrifice that I had to make, but
Yeah.
I'm glad I found my worth, and I invested a lot of time in myself. So, Dad, tell me a bit about your family background.
Well, my folks are from Jamaica, and you never got to meet them because they were not around, unfortunately, when you came on the scene.
I'm sure I'm just like Grandma.
Yeah, maybe a little bit. You got some features of her for sure. But I mean, my folks landed here in 1955 from Jamaica. And as I mentioned, my mom was a secretary, my dad was a mechanic, and they worked very hard, to do the right thing and raise us correctly, me and my older sister. It was tough. When you're not from America, when you're not from this country, and you come over here, it's a bit of a shock. And you got to think, it's 1955. So it's before the whole civil rights movement and all of that. And, they were West Indians. They were not African Americans. We're not African Americans. We're of Jamaican descent, West Indian descent. So coming to this country was, not an easy thing.
Right.
But like I said, they worked hard, taught us, proper values. We spent a lot of time together. We also traveled together, my parents and me and my sister, we went on drives mostly. My dad, would drive us. We'd go to Canada, Niagara Falls. We've been there together, you and I.
Yes, yeah. We went last summer.
That's right. But we just drive places. We did visit Jamaica a couple times. My grandmother, God rest her soul, she had a house in Jamaica, and we would go visit her for summers, much like how you would go to Barbados to visit Grandma and Grandpa down there.
Still to this day.
That's right. God bless. They're still around. But, my sister and I, we'd go to Jamaica and visit, my grandmother and other relatives down there. And we had a blast.
Speaking
Yes.
of relatives,
Oh,
we have a surprise for you guys.
yeah.
And I'm finally going to announce
And who might you be related to on your mom's side?
I am related to the Fenty family through my grandmother. So we are related to Rihanna and her brother.
Awesome. Shout out to Rihanna and her brother. And is it true her brother just had a baby?
Yes, he is so cute, has those Fenty features, those Fenty lips, which we're all blessed to have.
Nice.
And hopefully we're looking forward to seeing them this summer.
That would be great.
For sure. And now, some parental advice. So, Dad, you always told me a person who values you would never put themselves in a position to lose you.
For sure. I mean, I think it's important as family to just be concerned, be consistent in how we talk to each other, in how we encourage each other. It's just very, very important to continue to push ourselves. I mean, we all have dreams. We all have things we're interested in doing. And I think it's important as parents, at least, to encourage, your kids to do whatever it is that they think is good for them. You got to encourage those dreams, big or small.
Right. And then also support is a huge thing, during the highs and the lows.
And there will be those times. There will be times where things are going great and the family bond is very tight and,
Right, and strong.
strong. Things are going well. Mom and dad are working. Kids are in school or doing whatever. But then there's some times where,
things are not so great.
things are not so great. I mean, we're going through a situation now where kids are in school, but they're virtual. And they're trying to learn. But I think, guys, as parents, we have to encourage our kids. We have to help them. There's certain things that you might be learning in school, and maybe it's not coming through so clearly.
Right, like it doesn't make sense. And
doesn't make sense. You're like, Dad, how does this work? Or Mom, I don't understand. And that's when, as
right,
parents,
like, can you clarify?
You got to get in there and you got to say, let me see what you're working on. Okay, let's talk about this. Let's do some research. It is the World Wide Web, guys. So you can always do some Google searching, figure out what's going on. And that's going to help the family bond so much more because now you're working as a family.
And making the bond stronger.
Exactly. If I'm helping you learn something, you know what? I might learn something in the process.
Yeah.
I'm helping you with an assignment for school or something.
Which you have in the past.
I have, and I'm learning too. It's not like, what's to say you can't teach an old dog new tricks? Guess what?
Funny.
This dog has learned some stuff. Just saying.
And then, speaking about support, like it's very important to be the reason or be the person that someone feels welcomed, seen, heard, valued, and loved. Like, don't you think so, Dad?
I do. And I think it's very important as parents to listen to your kids. Pay attention to what's going on with them in their life, like actually see that vibe, see and feel the vibe, I should say. Like, if your kids are coming in home from school or whatever, and they're seeing, may seem a little down or whatever, I think it's important to understand what's going on there. Ask the question, how was your day at school today?
Yeah, like, did you have a good day today?
You have a good day? What's going on? What'd you guys do today? Because sometimes, your kid may have gone through a bad day. And I think it's important for you to have that support. Listen to them, see what's going on. If they just go to their room and lock the door, something's not right.
Yeah, something's up.
I think you need to go there and say, hey, you want to talk? Is everything okay? Always be there, willing to listen. And you know what, Mom and Dad, you might be tired. You might not be in the mood, but this is your kid and your kid's future. And I think it's important for you to understand where they're coming from, how they're feeling. And again,
see like how you can help as a parent.
You got to, because if you don't encourage, if you discourage, or if you're just checked out,
it will be a whole lot worse.
That's a bigger problem. Because I could tell you personally, I don't want my kids going to somebody else to get advice or getting into trouble, doing things they shouldn't be doing as a crutch because Mom and Dad aren't there to listen to me. No. My door's always open. My phone's always on. Call me, text me, come talk to me. Tell me what's going on. I want to know.
I agree. 100%.
I think it's very important. I also think as family members, sometimes family members can take advantage of each other. Some family members or, some extended family might be doing a little bit better than the next one. And, it's like, hey, cousin, I got a little something can I borrow some money from you or whatever? And, one of the things that can get into a lot of trouble as a family is when,
financial
things can get rough.
Right.
And I think one of the things that's just important, if you can't give it and do without it, then you shouldn't loan it. Because what happens is I think loans start to build animosity. You loan somebody a couple of bucks and you're expecting it back at a certain time.
Could be a whole thing.
Because you need it to pay for something or take care of something. And then you're like, hey, I thought you were going to give that back to me last week. It's now 3 weeks. What's going on? And that can build animosity. So if you don't have it to give, don't loan it, give it.
Right. And I think it's also important, bouncing off of you from what you're talking about, to never express too much love, affection, or even care to someone. Because I find, and you can tell me what you think, your thoughts, I find it's a human tendency to underestimate anything that's free of cost.
Well, yes, I think you're right about that. Sometimes people take advantage also of those kinds of feelings and emotions. And that's really hard. That's a tough thing to do. If your family, like we said in the beginning, you don't get to pick your family just kind of organically happens. And you're going to have, the crazy uncle or the whatever. And that's fine. There are always different people in family. And that's what makes the family interesting and diverse. But the taking advantage part, or, not showing care and love, that's a tough thing, guys,
Right. And it goes back to valuing each family member, right? Don't you think? And then, speaking on that, I saw something today and it really stood out to me, so I had to repost.
What was that?
Someone posted on Instagram, make sure you're not the only one who actually values the connection. And I think this is huge because sometimes you learn that people don't always value a connection as much as you do.
Yeah.
You realize that maybe some connections have only lasted because you've been playing by their rules.
Right.
Don't you think?
Yeah. Yeah. We spoke about that, in our Fairweather Friend episode, but sometimes that can extend to family members.
Indeed.
You don't hear from family members for a minute. All of a sudden they come out the woodwork and they're like, hey, what's going on? And you're like, okay, what do you want?
Right, indeed. And then, I was continuing to read it, and it also talked about when you start to grow into the person you want to be in life, your standard for effort and respect grows with you. Don't you think so?
That's important. But, and again, family, like we don't pick them, whatever. And, you learn as you grow.
Right, as you go along in life.
You go along in life. And I think that's what makes a family strong and your extended family stronger because, as, kids are growing up, they're becoming adults, they're getting into their profession, they're improving the family, whether they get to go to, college or any kind of career school.
Right, like whatever their choices may be.
Any kind of vocation, whatever it is, that's just improving the family. Maybe there's a doctor in the family for the first time. Maybe there's a lawyer in the family for the first time, or some other artist, who knows? I think that it's just important. And I use this word over and over again, the encouragement. I think it's very important to encourage your family members. I think it's important to get time together.
And also value each other.
Gotta value each other. And you know what? If you guys can plan some type of family reunion, I know it's tough now with COVID and everything, but, if you guys are able to use technology to your advantage, to have those Zoom, FaceTime, whatever you want to call that application, time to connect with those family members that you miss. Use the technology to your advantage. So if you're missing someone, you're thinking about someone, you can't go see them, maybe you can't afford to take that plane ride or that long drive to go see that family member, get on the phone. Get on the phone and call them, FaceTime, whatever that technology, WhatsApp, you guys know what kind of apps you have on your devices.
Exactly, because you know what? It makes the effort for it.
Yeah.
And when you make the effort, it just makes them feel more appreciated and valued.
You don't think grandma and grandpa or that long lost, older aunt wouldn't love hearing from you? Go take a ride or if you get a chance, whatever technology works, hit them up. Hey, grandma, or hey,
how you
auntie,
doing?
what's doing? And you're going to get that reaction. Oh, I was thinking about you. What are you up to?
Right. I haven't spoken to
you
in
How old
so
are you
long.
now?
Yeah. Oh, my God.
That's crazy. I remember my aunt, God rest her soul. She'd be like, wait, so how old are you now? No, you can't be already. I'm like, yes.
And then she would always be like, and Reilly's how old now?
I know. She's like, wait, she's an adult? I'm like, So it's very important, guys, to value your family and, spend time with them. If you can't physically go see them.
But don't forget boundaries.
You got to have the boundaries, too, because sometimes some family members will take advantage.
And we don't want that.
They're like, yo, Dale, you got $1?
Be like, nah.
Yeah.
But anyways, just be there for your family. The connection's very important.
It's important.
Those who you value the most, just make time for them because you never know. Tomorrow's not promised.
And it starts at home, guys. Love each other at home. Yeah. Show love, show courtesy, show respect. Listen, pay attention. Mom and dad might come home with a bad day. Hey, kids, talk to mom and dad. Mom, you okay? What's going on? What happened at work today? You all right?
Exactly.
And go from there. It's all love.
And now, time to connect with you guys. Right now, we're holding off on the giveaways, but we have some exciting stuff coming soon, so stay tuned for that.
And again, this is a pandemic. It's very hard to deal with. It's worldwide. But even though numbers may be going down a bit and folks are getting the vaccine, that's no time to quit wearing that mask. Continue to wear that mask and practice social distancing.
This episode is produced by Mark Newton at No Mystery Studio, along with Just Sing Productions and music by King Bubba. We'll be back with another great episode every other Monday. Make sure to follow us on Instagram, Spotify, Apple Music, and YouTube.
Thanks, guys.